Okay, we're gonna make biscuits. We decided we'd have breakfast for supper. I'm gonna put 2 cups of flour in this bowl, but first I'm gonna pretend I'm sifting it. I quit sifting flour years ago when I was making rolls in mass, and I discovered that instead of having a room full of flour that you couldn't see through, if you could beat it with your whisk and just stir it till it felt soft, it's the same thing. So, two cups of flour. Now we've got a pan with a little dab of shortening in the oven already, melting the shortening, so we can put these in it in a minute. And I do everything with a fork, so I got one of my heavy duty favorite forks out here. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons or something similar in here and mash it around real good so that it's all mixed into all of the flour, not just a portion of it. Most people will use their hands for this. The only time I get hands in the biscuits is when I'm making them out. That's close enough. We're going to put a teaspoon of soda because we're making buttermilk. No, half a teaspoon of soda. We're making buttermilk biscuits because that's our favorite. Now, when you use buttermilk, you use soda. If you're not using buttermilk, you can just use baking powder. If you use soda and sweet milk or water biscuits, it's not going to taste as good. So we got to have a teaspoon of salt. We've got to have a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, and it's got a little lip on it that you can flatten it out on, which makes it a lot easier. Okay, we've got flour, soda, salt, and baking powder and shortening in there. I'm going to stir this around a minute, get all that mixed together good. And then I'm going to pour around the cup. I don't usually measure the milk because sometimes your milk is real thick and sometimes it's a lot thinner. So I go by feel. See, now right now I didn't pour in enough. I've got to pour in some more, because I still got flour over on the side that didn't blend in with that. Because this buttermilk's a little thinner than a lot of it. Okay, we got it pretty thick. If you can see that, it's pretty thick. I'm going to sprinkle a little flour on the top and get it off my fork. Then we let the magic fingers get in there. And you're going to put flour and knead that around. Now remember, you can't do this with pie crust. But with biscuits, you can knead it all you want to. If you do it with pie crust, your pie crust is going to be tough. Okay, I need the pan in the oven that we've been heating up. And there's some things that I don't use a recipe for, but if I've got a recipe, I will make sure I've got everything in it that the recipe says. Then I got it smooth, I mashed it down, I pinched off some, and then I'm gonna tuck it under, make it smooth on top. I'm gonna dip the top of that in the grease, dip the edges in the flour to make sure it doesn't stick to you. To me, it's easier doing like this. A lot of people roll theirs out and cut it. To me, that was a wasted step that I didn't have time for. And it's kind of like rolls. It doesn't matter what they look like. If they like them, they're going to eat them no matter what they look like. They don't have to be pretty. We've got about 3 more left in here. I'm going to flatten them down just a little bit to make them the same size. Oh. Drop my pot holder. Then I'm going to take this over here and put it in the 400-degree oven that we've got hot and waiting on it. It'll take about 25 to 30 minutes till they're browned. Then we're going to eat them real quick.